Good morning. Today is Sunday, October the 6th, and my name is Donna Smyrnitopoulos. I'm the host of this channel, Angry Taxpayer. Today I am recording in Ocean City, Maryland. Today is also the day of the Sono Half Marathon, and this seemed like as good a time as any to get away from the traffic nightmare that is Norwalk, Connecticut. You take the one day of the week when we can expect no traffic, and you schedule a half marathon. And I understand why you would put the half marathon on a Sunday, but if we were not so beleaguered every other day of the week, maybe it wouldn't hit us so hard that our only day without traffic is now a day that has detours and road closures, etc. So today I woke up to read an opinion piece from incumbent candidate for mayor Harry Rilling, and the title of it is "Norwalk is Keeping Its Charm While Enhancing Its Assets." Well, we'll see about that. I don't know what the mayor is thinking here. Maybe he thinks he's the mayor of Fantasy Island, because the Norwalk that he talks about isn't anything like the Norwalk that I have experienced over the past few years, and it's getting worse by the day. And it's not the Norwalk most of you have experienced over the past 6 years. So here are some of the things that Mayor Rilling says. Through every generation, Norwalk has grown, improved, become safer and more desirable. Well, I think the more desirable part is certainly debatable. I don't know if the opioid deaths really reflect safety. Yes, it's certainly grown. He's right there. It certainly has grown. And he also says something very interesting. Some might argue that change is bad, but I wholeheartedly disagree. Well, people are not saying that change is bad. What people are saying is that uncontrolled growth is bad. Applications for large developments like the Sono Collection or Choice Neighborhoods Initiative, Washington Village Soundview Landing, what's proposed for Wall Street Place Phase 1, the McClutchy plan, Citibank plan for Wall Street, these are bad. It's not that all change is bad. It's that the wrong kind of change is bad. And I don't think it is an accident that Mayor Rilling is disingenuously conflating all change with bad change and bad planning. If I had to characterize what's gone on before my eyes since I purchased my property at the end of 2012, it is marked by inappropriate change, poorly planned change, rubber-stamped approvals, massive traffic tie-ups, and today's highlight topic, an influx of illegal or undocumented, depending on whether you want to be truthful or euphemistic, immigrants to the Norwalk area. This has happened systematically by act of our state legislature, and it started in 2013 under Barack Obama. So curiously, the mayor and Bob Duff would prefer to blame Republicans and Donald Trump for what's going on, but a lot of this started under Obama because they objected to his deportation policy, and so it was then that the legislature made Connecticut a sanctuary state, and this explains why Norwalk has been particularly hard hit. Now, the mayor says in this piece that some people say Norwalk is losing its charm and character, and as a lifelong resident who raises children here, he wholeheartedly disagrees. Well, of course he disagrees. These are his policies. The things that we don't like are his. He owns them. He has his fingerprints all over them. And a good police chief, a good cop, learns not to leave fingerprints. But I don't think that the mayor can get away from the negative aspects of his tenure as mayor of the city of Norwalk. So here's a picture of the mayor in an article that appeared in today's Norwalk Hour. And it's by Justin Papp, and it's about the influx of illegal immigrants in Norwalk, especially students enrolling in our schools. According to Superintendent Adamowski, we could see as many as 350 new additional students, unanticipated students, enrolled in the Norwalk Public Schools this year. Ask a teacher who's not afraid of being fired, ask an administrator, ask a parent, ask a student what the impact has been for them of this unanticipated but completely explicable uptick in new enrollees. Apparently, the health department last year did about 10 physicals for children and students in this demographic, and this year they have done 80. So something has clearly changed. If you ask Bob Duff and Harry Rilling, they will tell you, blame Trump. It's because of Trump's detention camps. But, who are you going to believe? Them or your lion eyes? Statistics say that there are 178 cases. So the number of cases, immigration cases pending, is a reflection of what's happening on the ground. It's just a little snapshot. Not everything is a case right now. There are 178 cases nationwide. Norwalk has 34 of those cases. So let that digest for a bit. Let that digest. That nationwide, 178, we have 34 of them. So those 34 cases of the 178 cases is just a 90-day snapshot, all right? So of the cases filed nationwide over the past 3 months, a full 20% are just here in Norwalk, all right? So go back to what the mayor said about how Norwalk is changing and the changes are good. How can you reconcile what's going on here? And you can't just point fingers at Trump and say it's the detention camps, because some of these children were abandoned in their home countries. They didn't have parents in their home countries to take care of them. That we have undocumented minors coming in. Does it make sense for Norwalk to continue to not enforce illegal apartments? Does it make sense for the state of Connecticut to continue to identify itself as a sanctuary state when Norwalk Public Schools are struggling to take care of the students who are already here? Do we not owe those students anything? I mean, pardon the noise, I'm going to let the motorcycles pass, but do we not owe our students anything? Is there no minimum standard? Are we just going to cram in as many people as possible because, Harry Rilling is the delusional mayor of Fantasy Island? Now, I like Justin Papp. I think he's a fine young man. He's a fine reporter. But I have to object to some of the cleansed and sanitized language that we use to talk about undocumented people coming into the country. He says, and I quote, "Issues of housing and educational insecurity at times persist." So what we're saying there is, I don't know why they call it insecurity, educational insecurity. We are required to educate children. There is something called FAPE, Free and Appropriate Public Education. It is a requirement. It is a huge entitlement. We never think of it as an entitlement, but I'm sure there was a period not too long ago when children were not entitled to a public education at the expense of the taxpayers. And education is funded almost all over the country through property taxes. So this is why Norwalk feels particularly beleaguered. This is why my property tax bill, after going up 27% to account for my improvements, went up another 43%. Why? Because they need the money. Why do they need the money? Because we have an open door policy. We have no enforcement. Now, the mayor has appealed to Jim Himes to increase our Title I funding. But again, this is an example of Norwalk being reactive rather than proactive. There are a lot of ways this could have been prevented. Now that it's happened, I think we just have to figure out how to deal with it. But the number one most important thing we can do to deal with this is to vote for different people. I mean, we absolutely have to get rid of the people who are here now, the people who have been making it easier, the people who don't believe in enforcement or who believe in selective enforcement. They need to go. We need to put ourselves first. That doesn't mean we're anti-immigrant. It doesn't mean that we're anti-change. It means that we plan. And we don't make it easier for people to come here than someplace else. There's a reason that Norwalk is taking the hit here because, everybody knows that we're an easy mark. We're the low-hanging fruit. So if you want to see things change, you have to change who's in charge. And that starts with the mayor. He's got to go. And as far as I'm concerned, every member of the Common Council who has ever approved any of his recent land use appointees, they have to go too. They could be nice people, But you have to send a clear message. We need to start over again, and we need to start over again with people who actually represent us. Ask yourself the last time you felt that your district representative did what you wanted, was accountable to you, voted the way you wanted them to, asked your opinion on anything. They just don't do it. I mean, it's not happening in my district, and I like those people, but it's not happening. Ernie Dumas knows exactly what went wrong at Washington Village, and he was brave enough to stand up and speak about it, and call out both the Norwalk Hour and Nancy on Norwalk for not covering that debacle appropriately. But Ernie and Darlene, we need you to vote that way too. So when you go to council meetings, you have to lay aside the fear and speak your truth. And I hope that you all speak your truth when you go to the polls on November the 5th. It's a little bit less than a month from now. Let's make change happen in Norwalk. No more lying, Mayor Rilling. Time to, give it a rest. Maybe you can retire to Ocean City. I'm sure they would love to have you here. I hope you all have a great Sunday, and I hope I don't see you tomorrow because I'm supposed to be on vacation, but, things come up. All right, ta-ta for now.